just when I started for Paul. I worked for several Jippos.
Jippos?
Jippos.
Who was your favorite one to work with?
Oh,
You don't know. Which one did you retire with?
I didn't retire with, well, C&B is who I retired from.
Yeah, the Comforts.
Yeah.
Who was that Comfort and who?
Comfort and Bosler. Yeah, let's see, I worked for.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Worked for Simpsons, then Paul West, then Vern Rask, then Kenny Martin, then Weyerhaeuser,
Oh, wow.
then C&B.
I didn't know you worked for Weyerhaeuser.
And then, actually, I can't say I completely retired from C&B. They retired, but then I wound up going to work for Jack Dilley, and my favorite.
Were you cutting or what were you?
No, I cut for a little bit at Weyerhaeuser, and for Kenny Martin, and a little bit for C&B when I started. But mostly around Skidder for Paul West.
Was that moving the logs around or what is that?
Yeah, it's like Skidder is like a tractor.
Right.
That oscillates and the skid logs to the chimney.
Oh. So what was your favorite job of all that you did throughout the years? Nothing?
Nothing.
Being retired? Being retired.
Yeah.
How long have you been retired now?
10 at least years.
Or more, right?
No, or more.
Time flies. That's crazy.
I actually started drawing Social Security when I was 62, after I had my appendix thing.
And how old are you now?
82.
82.
So I've been semi-retired for 20 years.
Wow. So tell me about your motorcycle racing days. Did you have any crazy stories or you just did it for a while? And
just did it for I think it was when I was working at Weyerhaeuser. Jerry Matthews convinced me that I had enough wild blood up that I should try racing. I did.
Do you have any wild? Oh, go ahead.
What were you?
Do you have any wild stories from when you were a kid? So much of those.
I don't really have anything.
Somebody was telling me something about you guys making a box car or something, and was that you guys? Them using one of them as a guinea pig? Was it Tom? Maybe. One of the boys. I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the wildest thing at racing was going to Mattawa, doing it's a 105 mile or a 35 mile loop, and you do 3 of those.
Oh wow.
105 Mattawa 100 they call it.
So is it all mud and jumps?
No, sand.
Oh.
Yeah, sand and rock.
Really?
And hoopties down on the flats, the Jeep trails and stuff. We just.
And on your motorcycles, did you have sand tires?
No.
No.
It was trails and stuff, It wasn't like we were doing the dunes.
Fun.
It was more. It was similar to the dunes, but you stayed on trails.
Fun. What else do I got in here? Who is the oldest person you can remember in your family from when you were a child? What do you remember about that person?
The oldest. I kind of remember Grandpa Gibbons, but he would undoubtedly would have been the oldest. So
right.
Because Grandma was born in 1896, so he had to be 76. He had to have been at least 20 years, I would say, older than her, and maybe more than that. So 1870s.
So probably him. Cool.
So just exactly how old they were when I knew.
Right.
I'm not sure.
It's amazing to think of.
And I'm intrigued by the fact that Grandpa Gibbons had the logging outfit, and the stories I've heard, he was kind of like a shyster.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find newspaper articles for you. I have to remember that. What would you consider to be the most important inventions during your lifetime?
During my lifetime,
There's been a lot.
there's been a whole lot.
Whole lot.
Computers and things that they're so foreign to me. I mean, I can't get a grasp of them. I do to an extent, but I try to operate one. I'm not.
Do you have a smartphone?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is more. There's more computer in this than there was in the like Sputnik era. You know, the early space explorers. But
Right.
the computers were junk.
Right.
Or huge.
And
It took the whole room to.
Right.
Yeah, they got more in that little phone than.
It's crazy, right? How is the world different now from when you were a child? It's so different, right?
Yes, it's definitely different.
As you see it, oh, go ahead. Do you have an answer for that?
No.
I know. It's just as you see it, what are the biggest problems that face our nation, and how do you think they could be solved? Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
A lot of division.
There's
that you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The whole world, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk politics. Let's see. Do you remember anything that your children did when they were small that really amazed you?
Yeah, but we won't go into that.
Really? You got some
I
stories?
didn't. They used to, when we lived in McClary, they'd escape out the bedroom windows and go.
They would?
Yeah, they'd go out and run all over town in the wee hours of the morning that I had no idea about until Tom was telling me. He happened to be living in McClary with what was her name? Lamb. Anyway, he'd say, yeah, I saw Jeff and Jimmy at the tree this morning. I had no idea they were out.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. I remember Jimmy's tree house. Jimmy had a tree house out in the woods in McClary. Do you remember that?
I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
No.
I think he had some dirty magazines in there too. I think he had some magazines in there too.
No.
I remember seeing those when we were a kid. We remember seeing that. What else on there? What is one of the most unusual things that one of your children did regularly when he was small? That's nothing weird with them. What's the funniest thing that you can remember that one of your kids said or did? Or grandkids? Do you have any funny grandkid stories? Nope. I have one about Hunter. He was so funny. I had him and Brooke, I think, we were getting ready for dinner, and I said, Hunter, take this corn out here and go shuck it just out in the woods, so the mess would just be in the woods. And because I came, I'm like, where's the corn? He's like, well, I kept chucking it, and Remy kept bringing it back. The dog. It was so funny.
It wasn't exactly what you had in mind.
It was the funniest thing. He never knew what shucking meant. Oh, so you don't have any grandkid stories? You don't have any grandkid stories with all them grandkids?
No, I got several. What?
Funny.
Four grandkids, and 6, 7, 8. 8 grandkids.
I know, right? A lot. And a brand new one. And a brand new one. Okay, let's see what else they have in here. Okay, Erika, you told me that where you lived. Do you wish that you lived anywhere else?
No, I'm fine where I'm at.
Awesome. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I could never decide. In high school, you started to get the idea that you were going to do something, or some people did.
Right.
You thought about going to college or something to study. I have no idea what I would study.
I know, it's hard to know.
I still don't.
I know.
If I had it to do over with, I've never set on anything that. Some people at 3 know exactly what they want to do. I don't.
It's crazy.
I still don't.
Well, if you could get paid doing one thing, what would that be? skiing.
Something that made
Race car
money.
driving.
Something that made money.
Well, anything that, like, if you could get paid to race cars or to ski.
Well, I would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, see? Okay, let's see what else is here.
Life seems to, there's a, you know, maybe if you were a little sharper, you might come up with something that you could actually make money with. And I've never come up with that.
There's so many things in the world today, like being a hand model. You know, the kids that are TikToking, they're just making videos and making money.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. What is the most beautiful place you have ever visited?
I'm sure a park. I'm gonna say St. Anthony, the overnight hole, those Grand Teton.
The Tetons?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those are pretty. We went there once too.
Real rough, crazy things. Yep,
Yeah.
they're neat.
What was the longest trip that you've ever gone on?
When we went to Yellowstone, I think. Went to St. Anthony and then into Yellowstone.
How long ago did you do that?
2000.
Oh, nice. Who'd you go with?
Just me and Judy.
Oh, just you guys?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Went to St. Anthony just to see what that was all about and like that. But then I didn't think about the difference in elevation, and my bike got to where it was running really rich. I should have leaned it out, and I didn't think about it. Anyway, it kind of gave up. So then we decided to go on into Yellowstone.
So you went on a motorcycle?
No.
No.
It had the quads.
Oh, that's right.
In my little trailer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You had quads for a while too. What was your favorite vacation ever?
That was we haven't done very many vacations. That was probably our biggest. What did you say?
Yeah.
I don't remember going on vacations.
Right? No, we
once in a while we go to vacation. I guess you could the sand dunes.
Right.
But those were just normally just weekend thing.
Right. What person had the most positive influence on your life?
Gene French.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Just I admired him, his philosophy in life. He was a neat guy.
He was nice.
He was like he says excuses only satisfy the person that's making the excuse.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I love that one. Because you don't get very far. Okay. Is there a person that really changed the course of your life by something that he or she did? Just Aunt Judy showing up in your life, right? Best thing ever?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Do you remember someone saying something to you that had a big impact on how you lived your life?
Mm-hmm.
Just what Gene French said, maybe? The excuses thing?
Some of that, yeah.
What else do I have on here? I think I almost got all the questions. So do you have any crazy stories, like murder stories or anything that happened? Nope.
No.
Nothing fun to tell? So tell me about John Turno, because
I know not. I really don't know much about him other than what I've heard. You know, I've read. What was that one? The one that what's his name? That lives over by the bridge.
I don't know. Is it a thin book?
Yeah, it's a little thin.
The Beastman book?
Yeah.
Beastman. You read that
I
one?
read part of that one. I don't think I ever went clear through the whole damn thing.
Have you ever read a whole book?
No.
See?
Yeah.
So
I have read a whole book, but not of Turtle.
a lot of people say that that's the only book they've ever read.
Oh, is that right?
Rich, my husband, said that's the only ever book. I've had a lot of guys tell me that. Because they say they start to read and just their mind just wanders, which it happens all the time.
Nah.
But that book held their attention. So
There's a lot of stuff in those books that if you paid any attention to my grandma,
yeah, tell me
that
what your
was
grandma said.
bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And tell me what grandma said.
Just that, he wasn't the way they portray him to be, is in her mind.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be left alone,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So Grandma Lula would put pies out
Yeah.
the Wainuchi,
Mm-hmm.
and John would come and take a pie and leave something.
Occasionally he'd be wandering by and take a pie.
Take a pie. Would he leave something in exchange for the
No,
pie?
I don't think so. I
think
never
so.
heard anything about that. But
Because they say that they do that a lot.
yeah.
You know, I just found a newspaper article from Australia in 1913.
No, yeah.
They were writing about John Turner in
Ah.
Australia.
Ah.
I keep finding newspapers. I got a whole stack of them.
It became, they exploited it so bad.
It was terrible. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fake news, and you know, it was. And then when the sheriffs were killed, the papers went wild.
Uh-huh.
And it is like some of it's not right, and some of it's fake, and some of it's even they got the wrong picture, and it's a great example of how the media
Yeah.
can just go wild with the story. So
Supposedly, wasn't Walt Shaleski,
Mhm.
Walt and Albert, I think they went on
on the hunt.
to go get him, to go bring him out.
Well, I found
Walt Shaleski was one of Grandma's boyfriends, whatever you want to call him.
Oh, was she?
But that was in the 50s. See, Grandpa died in 45, and then Uncle Bill came up just to give her a hand at the farm, and then somehow I don't know how Walt, probably through Albert, Walt came into the picture, and he'd gotten divorced or something.
Oh,
Anyway,
interesting.
she needed a hand, and he fulfilled that.
He was the
And
man.
he died when I was in Lakehurst, New Jersey. He
Oh.
doing my schooling in the Navy. He passed away, and then Orville West come into the picture for a short while.
Who's that?
Jerry, Jerry West.
Yeah.
His dad,
Oh.
Jerry Paul's
Oh.
dad. And then can't remember. Somehow he left, and that's when Crowell came into the picture.
Yeah. And how long were they on the farm for?
20-some years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what were their names? It was Charlie Crow.
Yeah, Charlie Crowell.
Okay.
His kid Bill.
kid.
And what was the other one? Can't think right now what the other kids. They did. They were there. They were planning on taking it over.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And we were insistent that they weren't.
Exactly. I remember that. A little bit about it when I was a kid, Yeah. That's crazy. So, Walt Shaleski, I had found a newspaper article where his son had found John's camp. Like his fire was still going.
Walt's son?
Walt Shaleski's son, yeah.
Huh. I never heard about that.
Or maybe not his son, maybe Walt. So it was a long time ago. So it had to be whatever age it would be.
Walt would have been pretty young. I mean,
So maybe it was his brother, or maybe it was him.
Walt and Albert. Albert or Casey's. That was Albert Shaleski's place.
At Casey's?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where you guys lived? You guys lived there for a while, didn't you?
In '74. I came
Yeah.
out, just for a year or something.
So that was their place. Okay. Well, whichever one it was way back in 1911.
Now,
When the twins were killed. There's a picture of him, and so the kid found the camp, and he went and told his dad.
I think that was Albert and Walt. They would have been young at the time.
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah. So it was
Because
one of them.
Albert died in late 50s.
Oh.
And Walt died in the 60s,
Oh.
mid 60s.
Yes, it must have been one of them.
Yeah.
It just says, I don't think it says his name. It says his son, but maybe it said Albert. But there's a picture of him with the stump and the gun. So they went and told the sheriff. He's like, no, we're not touching anything. He's probably watching. We're just going to go tell the sheriff. Well, the newspaper man came all the way from Seattle and Fred Bolt was his name, came all the way out here, and they said it was a goat trail, you know, because there was no road all the way. And then
yeah, but that could have just been a gravel road, you know.
maybe, but it was it was
coming from Seattle. That would have been a goat trail.
maybe so, yeah, with the wagon. And then he so they took pictures and everything. So I was looking, trying to figure out that stump, you know, because I was like, oh my gosh. And then the farm, the property that Dad gave us. We have those big, huge stumps. Jed and his friend Mason slept in one, and they're, Mason's 6 foot.
Oh, yeah.
So I was there trying to figure out the stump, and then Rex Valentine was telling me, I asked him about Turno Drive. I'm like, because he developed it. I said, why'd you name it Turno Drive? And he said, well, at the end of the road, across the river, there was an old stump, and it had a roof on it.
Uh-huh.
And he said he never got back there to take a picture of the stump, and I was like, oh my gosh, Rex. I'm like, maybe I got a picture of your stump. So, but that's why he named it Turner Drive, and everybody on Turner Drive doesn't even know that. Did you know that? Yeah, because there's a stump over there. So, and he said that also Boyd Zepp changed the course of the river with his D8 cat. And at the time there were no lots in Grace Harbor, so they made the little lots. So, anyways, but yeah, so I could talk Turner.
Well, I think Albert helped do that. So, I mean, he wound up with cables and stuff, made a log jam to veer the river.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow. So do you know, are any Shaleski's alive today that you know of?
Well.
Aunt Judy?
Is Bill still alive?
I have
That
no
was
idea.
one of her first boyfriends.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your first boyfriend?
Yeah, they lived just going into Elma, just past the grade school, middle school, is that what that is?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's a grade school.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the left.
You're right, yeah.
Well, just past that on the right is the Schlusky, where Bill lived. And that was I think that had to be like Albert and Walt's sister or something lived there. You know?
I don't know.
So do you know where all the old schools used to be around Matlock?
No. I had heard that Cougar Pass, you know where Cougar Pass is, up on top, past, in between our river bottom and Larry and Audrey's.
Oh, that's Cougar Pass?
That's called Cougar Pass. People see cougars going by there.
Oh, I never knew that.
Supposedly there was a schoolhouse up there on the right.
Really?
Yeah. Uncle Bill used to tell me about that.
Really?
I know there was one.
Yeah, the Elizabeth one was, on Hollitz. I've seen the foundation on that one. The foundation was still there.
I never saw any sign of that, just that Uncle Bill said there used to be a schoolhouse.
I wonder, do you know the name?
No.
Because they're working on trying to put signs on all the spots where the schools were. They asked me to try to help them, and I don't know where some of them were.
You knew that Grandma's house, that was Grove Cemetery voting.
Right there?
Yeah.
What do you mean Grove Cemetery voting?
Not Grove Cemetery, Grove
Precinct?
Precinct.
Right there?
Yeah, Grandma Spaldings used to come up to Grandma's and help do the voting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
the post office, Grove Post Office was at the Trinkman Farm, right? That's what Mom said, and I didn't know that.
Could be.
Yeah.
But Grandma was involved in the Grange and somehow she wound up having that as the voting, the place to vote.
Interesting. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask something else. I lost it. Well, you have any other stories for me?
Can't think of any.
Nothing funny or crazy?
At some point I'll bring you that ledger so you can
that'll be fun to see. Yeah. What happened to Bucky Moeller?
Don't know.
Any ideas?
I've never heard anything.
Any ideas?
No. Strange.
Yeah, it's so weird. He's just gone.
Did anybody ever find his shop truck or anything?
I don't think so. Nothing.
It's kind of hard for things to disappear like that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I would love to know all the murders in Matlock too, because I know there's been a few. Did you know anything about August Moss? George Spalding killing August Moss? Really? Well, we found that newspaper article. It was late 1800s, and they were fighting over the fence line. And George Spalding says threw a rock and hit August Moss, and he was in the hospital in Montesano for 3 days, and then he died. But I just heard from Dave Spalding, because we interviewed Dave Spalding. Dave Spalding said that it was his son actually that did it, and Charlie, he was taking the rep for his son. But they had a trial, but there wasn't enough evidence. But August Moss, I think, is the oldest person in the cemetery. So, yeah, when you guys die, do you want to be buried in the cemetery out here, or what do you want?
No, I'm going to be cremated and have my ashes thrown in the field, and maybe it'll do it some damn good. That's my wish.
In the field?
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool. That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
I want to do a garbage can full of beer.
Yeah.
And anybody that wants a beer on me, that's it.
Pour the beer on
That's
you?
my.
Or
I'll have one.
oh, okay. So you got it all planned?
Yep.
What music do you want us to play?
I don't need any music. I'm not gonna hear it.
Rich wrote that Uncle Jim song. Did you ever hear it?
Yeah, remember he
Yeah.
did the at the Moe's Tavern or whatever, Shoe Jacks or whatever it was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It wasn't quite finished. He hasn't played it in a long time. Well, and then he stopped drinking for a while. Because he's got I haven't even heard it in forever. I gotta find the recording. He hasn't played in forever either. Aunt Judy, do you have anything else that he should tell me about?
No, I can't think of anything.
You guys can't think of anything either? I just love to hear the, about the old stuff and all the logging camps. You knew where all the camps were, right?
I knew, there was Schaefer Camp. What is it, 2? That where we live there?
Where? Right on your property?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a camp too?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It was
Schaefer's Camp 2.
Oh,
That's the Schaefer grade.
there's so many.
Yes. Yeah, that was, in fact, when Grandma and Grandpa moved up here, they lived in a chicken house, one of Schaefer's, the chicken house for the camp.
Really?
Yeah. But it was a place to get out of the weather.
Wow. So did what was I gonna ask you? What was I gonna say? I forgot it. Now I keep losing it. I had a question about that. I don't know. Pete Muller was telling me a while ago that they used to, like, by Swinging Bridge Road, there was a camp. Like, by the boat launch, kind of?
Well, there was a roundhouse.
Right, the roundhouse. I didn't know
that was right there on the, as you come past the bridge,
right?
and swing this way, and then where you start to swing left, that's right there. That was a roundhouse.
Right. And then he said they had the little cabins were all along the river there.
Could be.
And all the workers would just get on the
I don't know how he
train.
would know that.
I don't know either.
Because he's 10 years younger than me, so
Oh.
so there must have been a lot of.
Somebody must have told him.
Yeah. I can remember seeing that roundhouse, and where Rich works, that was a roundhouse.
Right. Those pictures.
Yeah, and my first job was fresh out of high school was Gandy dancer. Anyway, we were pulling up the tracks. Dad started when they were clear up here, past our place, and worked with it all the way to the end. And after school, I started playing with that before I went in the Navy.
So fun. That would take a while. I know what I was going to ask you. Have you guys ever metal detected on your property?
No.
You should.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have one?
No.
You should. My dad had bought mom one a long time ago.
Oh.
I don't know. It still kind of works, but you probably, if that was an old camp, you probably got cool stuff there.
Yeah.
So who did Grandma Lula buy the property from? Do you know?
Weyerhaeuser.
Oh, it was Berthauser.
Yeah. How it was that Weyerhaeuser had it, I'm not too sure.
Oh, I can tell you how, because I've been to studying Weyerhaeuser. So, what was his name? Frederick Weyerhaeuser bought the property from the Pacific Northwest Railroad. So that's how he came over here, because he came from back east. And he purchased almost 1 million acres for $6 an acre.
Wow.
And it was his neighbor down the road that had the authority to do the deal, because the government was just giving it to the railroad to build their railroads. And then all the property he ended up selling to Frederick Weyerhaeuser. Yeah, it was and everybody at Weyerhaeuser doesn't even know.
Nah,
And then I found a newspaper article that said that Frederick Weyerhaeuser was richer than John D. Rockefeller.
no,
And he was involved in all these companies, and no one knew that he had his hands in all these companies. And then if he would donate lots of money, but if you made it public that he was giving you money, then he would withdraw his funds.
yeah.
So he was already a millionaire before he came to Grace Harbor and before he came to Aberdeen and just Washington.
Huh.
Yeah, and his house just sold. I found his house. It was built in the late 1800s back east, and that just sold for like $3 million. It's still there. And we were just at Weyerhaeuser getting our keys for the gate, and I asked the girls there, when Weyerhaeuser started. They're like, I think it was 1900, but nobody knows. They don't have a picture of Fred there either. It's just so we are starting to do one at the museum in Montesano. We're going to do a Weyerhaeuser display. And but he was pretty. I had to buy his books. I've been trying to read his book. I'm a slow reader too. It takes me a while because you read and you lose it right, fall asleep. And
A lot of dry stuff going on.
I know. That's why we're working on the John Turno book, and we want to make it mostly pictures and fun and easy reading.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to read it,
Right.
not that it's boring. Yeah. So that's what we're trying to finish. So, well, thanks for coming to my saloon
You bet.
to talk. And your race car driving.
Yeah.
Yes, because we're going to do a race car display at the museum too.
Oh, is that
Tell
right?
me about your race car career.
Started in 82.
82?
I went to the last race in 81, and to that Betty and Dale Lee's invite. And after watching them, that looks like something I might want to do. So I built a stock car or a car over the winter. And that's when I quit smoking. Over that winter, I several times I tried to quit, never could. Got something that had my mind on
Something else.
and was able to finally quit smoking. But anyway, I started racing in 82, and I did all right. Nothing, I can't remember, probably third. I finished third or something. Yeah, and then 83, I bought Ron and Dave Blood had a car. They decided to quit racing, and so I bought their car, motor, put their motor tranny and gearing in my car, and come out in 83. And if I was in the race, I won it with that setup. Heats, dashers, mains. If I was in it, I won it. It was ideal.
I remember watching you. It was awesome.
And then from that, I wound up getting elected president 84 of the Evergreen Auto Racing Association. And that was a bad mistake. I still jump when the phone rings. So, but then in 85, we wound up working at Clearwater, and there just wasn't enough hours in the day to be racing and working at Clearwater. So I pretty much took that year off. I might have raced a race or two, but then I got back in 86 and started again. Raced until probably 96 or so. And then took a few years off, and 2000 something, and tried racing a modified. Discovered that was a whole different thing. I tried that for a couple of years. It was expensive.
I bet.
But that was about my career.
So what year did Dad race?
What? Well, Tom him and I both started in 82.
Uncle Tom raced too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Number 13.
Oh.
He had an old Oldsmobile.
I don't remember.
And Uncle Bill, he built, him and Paul built a trailer, and Bill's duties were to pack us both to and from the races. Mine was, I got in with Ed Comfort, and Ed let me park my car at his place. And so Bill just had to pack my car first to his place, Ed's place, and then go back to the track and get Tom's car and bring it up here. It might have, it might have stayed over at Bill's, his car, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
I remember.
But then Tom got, bear trap, had bear trap welded up a cage and in a little Chevelle, or a Chevy, small Chevy. And he came out in 83, in the first corner, it didn't steer.
It didn't
He
steer.
crashed, and that was it.
Serious?
That was it. Spent the whole winter on the car. And
Oh
was it.
no, how sad. And all the money
Mhm.
and time.
Mhm.
So when did Jimmy start racing? And
86 or 7 or something like that.
what was his number? I forgot.
Hmm?
What was his number?
21,
What was yours?
44.
44, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you raced a long time, and then Aunt Judy counted the laps.
Yeah, well, that's what she finished doing. She was a ticket, sold tickets at the back gate to get into the pits.
Oh,
Did that to start with, didn't you?
Huh?
So you sold tickets at the back gate, getting into the pits. That's where you started.
Yeah.
And then later you got into lap counting, and then she became the head lap counter toward the end.
towards the end. So how many years were you the president?
Just the one.
Just the one you were done?
That's enough.
It was one and done, huh? Too much work. Too much work.
I mean, you were just you got to be the listen to everybody's gripes.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of people gripe.
So you recently got inducted into the,
Yeah, that was back
The Hall of
in
Fame.
18.
yeah. So did they start that recently, or did they always have that, or?
No, I can't remember just when they started it. This is probably 6 or 8 years before I got inducted. Probably around 2010, 12 or something like that. I'll have to look back. I've got some paperwork on it.
So who else got inducted? Do you remember?
That year, well, Jimmy's now in it.
Oh, he is. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he got inducted, what, last year? Year before?
Yeah, last year.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And who else was there that was big in the racing? That the Daniels, right?
Daniels and Wes. And, yeah. When I became president,
Yeah.
Dan West Sr. should have been the president, but he backed out. I wound up with it. The West, Ken Stearns, he was a big, in fact, he was president in 82 and 3, and Mike probably in 81. He was one of the bunch that got the current track, it started out, it was a 3/10, I think 3/10 size track, and then later, after when Brownfield came, he turned it into a 3/8, a little bit bigger, wider. But anyway, Stearns and them they did a lot to get it going. It used to be an old half-mile dirt track going different directions.
Oh.
And then the current one goes this way, but the old one did that.
It was old horse track at first, right? Yeah.
Fairgrounds horse track.
What year?
And there was when they changed the horse track also, they did, I don't know, in the late 70s or something, they had, what do you call it, where they bet, they had betting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They bet on the horses, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, horse betting and stuff.
I'm pretty sure that had to be late 70s, and so that when they built the new car track, it was inside of the horse track, so we had to put plywood down to get across the horse track. It was a pain.
I remember that, because they still did horses then.
Oh, yeah.
So what year did they start racing cars? Do you know? Do you remember?
Well, they started in Evergreen Auto Racing started in 1955, but it was for the airport or Clemens Hill. That's where the first track.
Oh, really? In Montesano?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then from there, they moved to the horse track,
Wow.
and then they had a couple of problems, people getting killed and stuff.
Oh, geez.
Some from tires getting off.
Oh.
And you used to go around the end of the track to get over to the horse barn. And that was, I can't remember the name of the kid that was walking and a tire or wheel come off.
Oh.
Yeah.
And killed him.
Yeah.
How did was it Fred Brownfield?
Yeah.
How did he die?
He was trying to get cars lined up for the modified nationals, and for some reason he was wearing a brown, light brown
Oh, so you
shirt.
couldn't see it?
And after that, everybody started wearing colors.
Colors. So someone just hit him then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He was out trying to get this guy to catch up, and I don't think the guy he was trying to get to catch up ever saw him.
that's so sad.
Yeah.
Man. So sad for him.
Mm-hmm.
We still have the push truck. My son, Jed
Oh, is
bought
that
it.
right?
Yeah, the big red one.
Yeah.
It's back down behind the Strawwell house.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember those nights going watching you guys, and then going to the tracks, and then going to called it the Gag and Puke and Satsep.
Oh yeah.
What was it, Annabelle's?
Yep.
Yeah, because that
Dinner house.
was the only place that would stay open late for you guys. That was
And it was
fun.
reasonably, and
Parties.
after you'd had enough beer,
Beer.
it was a fine place to eat.
Right.
Solid bar and all.
Right. We spent a lot of time there. That was fun. Well, thanks for coming in
Yeah.
and answering questions. And if you think of anything else, you can, call me and tell me. Do you have any stories, Aunt Judy?
No,
Nothing.
I found those on the floor.
Thanks. Yeah, sometimes we haven't even been up here in forever. I don't know,
Yeah.
we haven't had done anything up here. I'm gonna turn this off really quick. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I need a picture of you before you leave. Here, let's see.